Hi, I'm Lee.
And I'm Ronnie.
And this is Jupiter Juice.
Yippee.
Today we're going to be talking about common astrology myths and doing our best to the people to debunk these myths.
Yes.
Or at least give you our take on them.
Yeah, because they're kind of insane.
Yeah, most of them are. It's like astrology's not killing people. Like,
yeah.
we need to relax. It's not that deep.
It's not.
So yeah. Let's go there. Let's
first our drink.
Oh yeah, right. Almost forgot.
Yeah, we did mocktails today because look, it's womanhood is womanhooding. So we did, what is this called? Mystery. The Martian Mystery. The Martian Mystery. And so we'll show the recipe later, but it has like a mango lime vibe.
I have jalapenos in mine because I like spice.
Oh my god, wait. That's the first time I sipped it. Bow, okay?
I want to try this one.
Yeah. And it's very affordable. It only costs $5.
Right.
$5.85 at Publix. So.
Shout out Publix.
Yeah, maybe.
Right. Is it shout out? Let us know in the comments. Is it shout out Publix?
Hell no. Okay. Alrighty. So myth number 1. I am my sun sign. So basically, I am a Capricorn, so that's why I act this way.
Boo.
That's just people not trying to take accountability for their actions, okay?
Yeah.
That is some real issue. When people bring that up, it is real, okay? I mean, there is truth to the signs and the zodiac, but, you know, the truths are there, but that does not mean the truth is there for you to become a better person. You know, every sign has its pros and cons, its negatives and, you know, positives, it's yin and it's yang. But that doesn't mean you need to be an a-hole. So, like, for real, check that BS at the door.
Yeah.
For real, so.
Yeah. I think that also sun signs are fun, but it also oversimplifies astrology a bit. Your sun sign is important.
Yeah,
I don't
very
want to downplay that.
Yeah.
It's basically how I view the sun sign. It's what your soul is like evolving into overall. So you're not even necessarily going to embody the traits of your sun sign all right away. Yeah,
usually I think I saw a statistic, well not statistic, but like somewhere that it said after 30, that's when you start showing your sun sign more because like you show up, and this is where we, you know, talk about like it's not just your sun sign, it's your moon, it's your rising, and a lot of times, most times, especially if you're younger than 30, you're like on the younger side, you show up as your rising sign. And at first I was like, you know, like growing up I was like, I don't feel like I present myself as a Gemini. I feel like a Gemini, but like I don't feel like I come across that. And then someone's like, no, you act like a Sagittarius rising. Yeah. I'm like, really? Because like because of like the way you want to expand and like your knowledge and like your belief system and things like that, because you know Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, of course, and you know that is an expansive planet. So it's like I'm always looking to learn something. Yeah. I'm always looking to absorb information. I mean, that kind of goes with Gemini a little bit too, but Gemini also is the opposite sign of Sagittarius. So I think they do have those similarities. But yeah, it's just like
planets mature at different ages. Like going back to what you were saying. So I think like your Mars is like 25. No, your Venus is age 25. Your Mars is 21. So just going back to planets, the sun as a whole, the sun is important, but when you're looking at signs and just kind of trying to like place people in categories based on those signs, you can kind of get a little bit confused, especially if you're not actually studying the traits of the signs. A good place to start studying the traits of the signs is to look towards the planets. So like how I learned sign stuff is, okay, Leos. Everybody says, oh, they're bold and they're dramatic and they're flair, but why? So they're ruled by the sun. The sun is the biggest planet. Everything revolves around the sun, so you can kind of see where people get that archetype of Leo from the sun. The sun is what? Hot and dry. So their temperament runs a little bit hot, dry, so they're a little bit quicker to do things. Going into Mars, like Mars itself, it rules Aries, and Scorpio.
Mm-hmm.
So Aries is the hotter, drier version of Mars. But Scorpio is going to be a little bit like it's wet. It's a water sign, so it's going to show up a little differently.
Yeah,
so,
emotion based. It's like their I guess the angst comes from like the Scorpio when it comes in relation to Mars. That's really cool.
I always think of Mars as like a knight. Like for some reason in my mind, Mars, like the planet, is like big knight energy. Like,
and they say it's like
to save the day.
And they say it's like the planet war as well. So,
so it's always good to look at the planets before you kind of dive too deep into the signs to just get the fundamentals. Myth number 2. My chart is doomed. My placements suck. I'm gonna live a horrible life. I'm a terrible bad person. I can't believe that I suck so bad. Because my moon is in the 8th.
I'm gonna be broke for the rest of my life. Because you have Saturn in the 2nd house. So when people like look at my chart, it's like, oh, you're a Gemini sun. Ooh, okay. You never know, because people be hating on Geminis. Anyway, and I'm like, oh, I'm a Sagittarius rising, but then I'm like a Capricorn moon. And I was like, oh my god. And I'm just like, what?
Right.
Are you serious? Oh my god, like you don't know how to show up like when you're in your emotions. You don't know how to, deal with your emotions. Okay, maybe when I was younger and unevolved. Okay. But also you have to look at when you have a quote unquote challenging aspect in your chart, it's how you perceive it. Because that's something that you can grow in. Because like, for example, like my moon is in Capricorn, but it's on my North Node. So I know that is something that, that plays a large role in my life, in my journey. And having like a Capricorn moon, especially in my first house, is like, reading on Capricorn moon is like, oh, they're very strong in their emotions, or they don't wear their heart on their sleeves and stuff like that. But the thing is, it's like, I view it as like a poker face, because people don't believe that I'm an extremely emotional person. Like when it comes to like, business and things like that, I kind of get it done. But at the end of the day, like, I'm an emotional person, but I also know how to process my emotions at home. Like I know, like, oh, I need to do shadow work. I need to, I need to journal. I need to meditate. I need to sit with myself. I need to talk to people about things that bother me, versus just like. So I view that as a strong suit in my chart, and with it being in my first house, I know that it is like a part of like my, my personal, like my personality, if that makes sense. Like it's like one of my main traits. What are some of your like, I guess what people would consider like a hard placement for you?
So hard placements in general, how I view them is like, they kind of give you a leg up. So it's kind of like going, like you're going to go run with a group on the beach and you're running in the sand, you're doing sprints and stuff. One person has 20-pound ankle weight strapped to them. So it's like, it's harder for them to move through that sand. It's harder for them to, get through obstacles. But because they have the weights on, they came out a little bit stronger. They learned how to navigate something maybe even a little bit more creatively. So I think that debilitated planets are actually pretty beneficial to have, especially in this day and age. They say that we're in the age of Kali Yuga, or whatever you want to call it. The age of the hard, like you look at the world around us. Like it's not sunshine and rainbows. So we're living in a pretty hard world. So to have like a hard placement in a hard world, hard and hard, they cancel out. So I think that it's kind of good, because it's like you get that grit in you.
It makes you more equipped to deal with the hard times ahead, because we are we're currently in the midst of those hard times. So
just like rapid like listing the bad placements. If you have these placements in your chart, don't worry. This is your support group. We love you. Any 8th house placement, any 12th house placement. I have 12th house placements. 6th, 8th, and 12th houses are considered malefic houses. Meaning planets do not like to be there. Because why? They are behind the major points in the chart. So you can't really see them. So with the 8th house, it's rules over secrets, right? Because it comes right after your close one-on-one relationships in the 7th house. So you go to the 8th house. What are those secrets behind those relationships?
The taboo.
The 6th house is also right behind the 7th house. So it's like, again, your close personal relationships. It's like before you get there, what's the work that you're putting in to actually get to that pinnacle of the 7th house? 12th house. That I have my sun there, depending. Either way, I have either my sun or my Mercury there. It gets very confusing in the 12th house. That's where things go to die. Kind of similar to the 8th house, but in a way where it's like kind of even after death. So things kind of dissolve. It reminds me of that movie Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh, my favorite. That's like one of my favorite movies.
Is it?
I watched it like 4 times back to back.
I watched that with my mom.
Yeah.
She was like looking at me like, oh God, and then I was crying. It was a lot.
It was so good. Oh my goodness. Like,
that's 12th house energy, right?
Yeah.
Pisces energy. It's very just floaty. It's very, time doesn't exist. A lot of things, like, it's like looking through a kaleidoscope. One thing looks one way and then you kind of view it another way. So my sun is there, and it's in Scorpio. Goes through a lot of ego deaths.
Yeah, I wonder, this is interesting because like my sun is in my 6th house. I feel like that's probably why we connect. We have very quote unquote considered like difficult placements, but I do think that makes us very strong individuals. We both have been through a lot, and that's what I want y'all to get from this. Is like, just because you see something like yeah, TikTok is a tool. And all these social media apps are a tool, but at the end of the day, like it's a lot of misinformation out there, and you do have to be careful about that. Like, pick up a book, like for real, like seriously, pick up a book. You know, do the research for yourself. Don't just rely on social media, and really get to know yourself. It comes with shadow work, and it comes with studying.
Yeah.
When it comes to like astrology, you have to treat it like a class. I feel like a class about yourself.
Yeah.
And just like she said, like, start with the planets, but me, I start with the houses. I like to figure out like what the houses mean. That is like my biggest thing. And then, I mean, you can start either way you want to, but I do start with the houses, just like figure out what each house means. Because, for example, like, people believe, another myth is people believe if you don't have like a planet there, it doesn't affect you or anything like that.
Yeah.
But it may not be lit up, but also you have to think about what's transiting that house as well. So
transits.
Yeah, and what activates that house. So that's something else to consider.
Yeah. What I will say, closing on that, we are going to talk way more on this channel about how to read your birth chart, what certain houses mean, how to interpret the planets, how to interpret the signs. So stay tuned for that. Because we will be helping you through that. Don't worry, we are your astro godmothers, here to save the day.
God sister, because what?
Hello.
I have no children. Wait, is there something I don't?
These bitches is my son.
Oh my God! Wait, she did that. Right. Myth 3: astrology is demonic. Oh my God, I'm laughing at you. It is not.
It can be.
It can be, but like anything can be.
Yeah.
How about you look at your religion? But anyway, I don't. Yeah, I think something can be quote unquote demonic is if the person is that, or if that cult is that. It's how you practice it. There's nothing demonic about knowing more about yourself.
Hello. Wow, groundbreaking.
It's like, oh, are you the demon?
Yeah, and think, who's trying to make me think that learning more about myself is demonic?
Okay, look.
I had to have that fast. Oh, right. We can bleep that out.
Okay.
But anyway, just think, who's trying to make me feel like learning myself is more demonic, and why?
Peekaboo.
I wonder why. You know, critical thinking is needed here. But I think a lot of people are kind of like evolving past that stage. in their like journey overall with astrology and stuff. And yeah, it you know, in the Black community, a lot of times anything outside of Christianity is viewed as demonic, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So,
and I personally believe, touching on that, in the Black community, love you guys. Heart check. My people. I was raised in a very devout Christian family, but no one was like, no, you need to, you know, it was nothing like, and I have all types of preachers in my family.
period.
Lutheran, Baptist, you know, I visited Pentecostal churches, you know, Seventh-day Adventist, my best friend when I was growing up, Seventh-day Adventist. At the end of the day, follow your heart, okay? Follow your heart, and if someone is telling you that you should not be something because it's demonic, and most times it is somebody of the Christian faith, unfortunately, try to either separate yourself from that person or just figure out your own journey. Okay, don't let anyone bully you into believing that you wanting to know more about yourself is demonic. Okay, there's not because the thing is, at the end of the day, we see it. We see the sun. We know that the moon has a direct effect on this planet. Like, that is pure science. Yeah. And the waves and things like that. The women in our cycles, based on the moon, the 28-day cycle, give or take.
And that's another thing that irks me about like astrology naysayers, especially also men. They're like, oh, that's just a woman's little thing that they do and blah blah blah, and trying to like write it off just because it's something that women are mainly interested in. But I think also another thing that the collective conscious is starting to realize is that women need to be in charge more. Yeah, like y'all need to get skirt the fuck up out of here.
But the thing is, I also think, oh my god, I just went on an extreme tangent, but let me go there. Okay,
we love a tangent.
So I do feel like, especially when it comes to Christianity and how that is, not trying to get too deep into it, because you know there's some
Why not get deep?
The Bible's a cute read. Like, I kind of, you know,
I like songs.
Yeah, like honestly, I do read songs. So, but the thing is, like, when it comes to Christianity, it does suppress the woman, the idea of the woman, the divine feminine. And you know, it starts off with the first story in Genesis, and I do feel like it's the fear of a woman's knowledge, in that we hold the seed, we deliver the seed. You know, Black women are the most knowledgeable people and educated people in the United States of America, and probably hell, fucking where the fuck we at? Okay. But women in general are extremely smart, and I think if, you know, we actually acted in our roles, like, we are the nurturers, the creatives, we are everything. But like, for real, like, I do have a little bit of a problem with Christianity, is because of how the idea of the woman and how she is suppressed. And to criticize and talk about astrology is like, oh, that's just a woman's thing, or it's so feminine based. It's like extremely dismissive and disrespectful. And that's the reason why I feel like people should know about it more, is because it is a tool of knowledge. And going back to the first chapter in the Bible, what was the thing? What was the main thing? Knowledge. And Eve seeking that out. You know, I ain't gonna get crazy deep into it. We do need to have like an episode like based on Lilith in general. Like I
had a weird revelation a little bit ago. So yeah, we can't get into it. I really do think we should really embrace astrology and not just dismiss it because it's not factual, it's not based in science, it's a woman's thing. Like that, like, it's demonic.
So Are women demonic?
Yeah, so.
Okay. Bibbidi bobbidi boo bitch. Okay.
But yeah, last note on that. I grew up Catholic, so you already know my family was on some shit. Okay, you already know.
But y'all
it wasn't no. Nah, it wasn't none of that. It was yoga is evil and demonic. It was
stretching. Wow.
Yeah, I asked my everybody what their sign was when I first started learning about astrology, and they're looking at me like I got fucking 3 heads. Crazy. So I have my own personal stuff with that. I feel like it's so weird to me because especially Catholic people will do crazy rituals in church and like drink the blood of Jesus. Well, I mean Christians do that too.
Well, yeah.
But like we wear all white, be baptized in the blood of tears. Fucking literally like we're dressed in robes and gowns and we're standing and sitting, standing and sitting, standing and sitting. Like y'all don't think that was rituals?
Prayer is a ritual. Prayer is meditation.
Rituals are very common. They're way more common than you think. They surround our lives.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on. Many rituals like will save your life. So it's just like to say a ritual or astrology or whatever is demonic. It's just very goofy in 2025. If you're old, I get it. Sure, whatever. Yeah, I guess.
No, but everybody's still open to learning. I don't care how old you are. People, you learn things new until the day you are no longer exist in this body and beyond. You are always a vessel for learning. And also, we're going to move on from the subject, but the last thing to touch on and how astrology relates to Christianity is look up the Zeitgeist, that film. That's another thing. I will put that in the comment section below. But the Zeitgeist was a cool documentary to take a look at because they relate astrology to religion. And how all if not most religions are based off of the solar system. So the sun, they say the sun, Jesus Christ, is the sun. Jesus Christ had 12 disciples. The 12 planets, 12 houses.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So, it's like a whole thing. Okay?
Interesting.
And what they represent. And I would just say, take a look.
I'm sorry. Wasn't he in the... Jesus went into the tomb for like 3 days?
Yeah.
Like full moon cycle or something? Or like
he went in there for 3... They say he went in there for 3 days, came back like, hey, I'm back.
Yeah. And it was like a moon cycle. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like, what's up? But a lot of that... But the skies above is closely related to a lot of our cycles and a lot of things that happen here on Earth. So, I just encourage you to become more educated and just to do some research. You know, this is not me saying like, oh man, you got to learn astrology. No, just learn some shit. Just open a book. Just ask questions. And don't be judgmental or dismissive. That's it. Period.
Yeah.
And another thing that I want to touch on is like celebrities and when it comes to like, you know, astrological signs and myths and things like that. So for example, like I love that I'm a Gemini because we make the world go round. I'm sorry, music wise, we do it. Kendrick Lamar, Tupac, Kanye West. Left Eye. From TLC. Myself. Who else? Who else is a Gemini?
Was Prince a Gemini?
Prince was a Gemini. I do feel like, well, because Geminis are ruled by Mercury, sign of communication, I do find like a lot of creative people who are lyricists are in the music industry and that are pretty successful and pretty impactful are Geminis, and that does make sense because like we are ruled by a sign of communication and those things. Another thing that I found interesting, I actually learned this from looking at Channing Nichols' channel about Kendrick Lamar. He's like the Hot Topic, and Doechii. She's a Hot Topic as well. They both have their Mars in Cancer. And currently we have Mars in Cancer.
Retrograde.
And so technically that placement with Mars and Cancer is in its detriment. So basically Mars does not like to be in Cancer because Cancer is a water-based sign. So and Mars is of course, you know, ruled by fire. So it's like it just basically I look at it as like water distinguishes fire. So it like for me like as an example is like I feel like dragon like you know like the energy right now is just like for me. But for them, because they actually have their Mars in Cancer, it's like they're using it in a very calculated way. Like how Channing explained, like for Kendrick Lamar, it's in his 10th house. And like he has just been hitting it and hitting it and hitting it hard. But he's not, it's not so like, people would disagree with me. It's not so, in my opinion, it's not so blatant like, rah. He's doing it in a very calculated and creative way. And I think that's where, because water is like creation, birthing new things. And then with Mars being the planet of war and things like that, it's like, people are making him out to be this revolutionary act. I mean,
which is interesting because it's like Martian.
Yeah, and he knows what he's doing. Like he's not.
Yeah, the way I view water, like Mars and Cancer, the water sign is, it uses its emotions as fuel. So it's like if you have a lot of built up emotions, which he did, as we can see with the crazy back diss tracks he did, or even with Doechii, like. So many people are connecting to her on an emotional level. And kind of using their emotions as fuel to propel them forward. So I feel like in like the Cancer, Martian, whatever, Moon is also, Cancer is ruled by the Moon, so it's like an intuitive sign. So it's kind of like, they don't move like you said, calculated for sure, but it's like in a way that's intuitive. So it's like instead of relying on like super like, in your face, boom, 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 this is what I'm going to do. They're kind of relying on their emotions to fuel their actions. And it's obviously leading the people around them because it's like people are really fueled by those emotions. So I think that's very interesting. So yeah, if you have Mars in Cancer, let us know your experience. Let us know if you have Mars in Cancer and how that affects you, and you know, are you an emotional train wreck? Let us know.
So that's our episode of Jupiter Juice. If you liked what you heard, or you know have any more questions, definitely make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share, and just let us know like maybe what you want to talk about next time, and be on the lookout for our next episode. Again, I'm Ronnie.
And I'm Lee.
And this is Jupiter Juice. Bye.